2 months after I turned 18, I began to notice some acne pimples appearing on my face. It took me quite by surprise. I thought that these things were just something that happened to teenagers, but when I consulted a specialist, I found out that it really wasn't. The dermatologist told me that like everything in life, it depends on each person. Yes, there is a stage of life where it is more common, but nothing prevents the skin from becoming full of pimples again. It had to do with some of the fat near the facial surface. I had to buy an expensive cream for skin treatment that pretty much cut into my small budget to go out and have fun on the weekends. At least I can say that the cream did the trick, and the lack of money helped me stay in the college dorm to study. And thanks to that, I did well on my exams. Because of this acne episode, one became much more careful about my body image, something that had not happened to me during my high school years. I wanted to socialize and get to know people, and I thought that if I didn't feel good about myself, I wasn't going to have a good time. So once I got over the facial pimples, I began to notice other aspects in which I could improve. For example, I realized that due to the lack of sleep, something typical in college, the dark circles under my eyes were getting bigger and with a more noticeable color. So I consulted with a couple of female friends, and they recommended that I use something called concealer. I had no idea what that was and had to ask one of them to go with me to the grocery store to buy one for myself. This was my first contact with the world of makeup products, but of course it would not be my last. My friends kindly taught me how to use concealer. They thought it was very cute that I was getting interested in makeup. So I started to apply concealer under my eyes. My face looked so much better every time I did it. Without bags under my eyes, I felt like I had slept well, even if I hadn't. It was all a matter of perception. Whenever I looked at a male classmate, I couldn't help but notice the dark circles under their eyes. It wasn't very pleasing to look at, and I felt a little sorry for them because I knew there was a solution for it. I almost felt the urge to recommend that they use concealer like I did. But of course I had no business having an opinion on the appearance of others. Besides, it's obvious that a guy wasn't going to take my beauty advice just for the sake of it. Ultimately, it is women who reap the benefits of makeup. It's a cultural issue. Of course, women don't have to wear makeup if they don't want to. But it's clear that such products help them feel pretty and good about themselves. And that's something I shared more and more every day when I looked in the mirror and noticed that my face looked great. Whenever I went out with my female friends, I couldn't help but notice their made-up faces. I found it very interesting how my girlfriends used makeup to give their faces more personality and to complement the rest of their outfits. It was like a kind of science in itself. At one point I even asked them questions about it, like how do you know what eyeshadow color suits you, or do you always match the color of your lips with the color of your fingernails? It was already very obvious, both to me and to my friends, that I was really into the whole thing. It was no longer enough to use concealer, no matter how useful it was. I was very curious to use other makeup items such as lipstick, blush, mascara and nail polish, just to name a few. I started very slowly, partly because I wanted to learn to use the products one by one, with patience, partly because studying and exams left me little free time. Also, as I soon discovered, makeup products can be incredibly expensive, and I didn't have any money to waste. I bought an eyeliner and began to outline the contour of my eyes with long lines and triangular shapes. It was really a lot of fun. And it looked so much prettier when I combined the eyeliner with eyeshadow and mascara. It was as if the upper part of my face was being designed by myself, like a drawing. I also bought nail polish for my fingernails. I liked to paint my nails black, gothic style. I never painted my nails to go to class, just to be inside my dorm room, but it was more than enough to feel like I was making progress. Sometimes I painted my nails when I went out for a walk. Once I went to a coffee shop with my friends, and the lady who served us complimented me on my black nails. I smiled with all sincerity and thanked her. With the fatigue of college exams and my part-time job, I stopped making progress with my makeup for several months. It was only well into my sophomore year of college that I finally bought some items I was missing, like lipsticks and blush. It was at this point that I began to put on makeup and try things out. After trying several times, I realized that I really like the color red, both for lips and eyes. But I also tried to combine colors. Like, for example, red for lips and pink eyeshadow. Or painting one eyelid with one color and another color for the other eyelid. There was some fun in trying new things. The important part was to feel nice. I still hadn't gone out on the street with my makeup on, anyway. It was just something I did in private for fun and just to pass the time. I never asked my friends for help with my makeup, just some advice. For example, I would ask them if they thought it was okay if I combined one color with another, or how much blush I should apply. But I always did my own makeup myself, without anyone's help. Just asking for advice, watching videos on the internet, and applying my own creativity. All my female friends were aware of my interest in makeup, and they loved it. My male friends and acquaintances knew about it too, but didn't comment on it in particular. Interestingly, I ended up finding out that I wasn't the only guy who liked to paint his nails black. It was more common than I thought. Months went by, and I continued to hone my makeup skills. It wasn't until the middle of my junior year in college that I decided to buy some clothes and start putting together some outfits. My intention was not to dress as a woman, but rather to find my own personal style. With the help of my friends, I bought some clothes in a couple of shopping malls. I bought a pair of jeans, a black and a red skirt, 2 shirts and a sweater. Of course, these purchases were the end result of having tried on dozens and dozens of different clothes. It was exhausting, but at the same time a lot of fun. A few months later, I bought a pair of fairly flat shoes, without much heel but very nice. By my senior year of college, I would go out and have fun dressed in women's clothes and with my face painted. It wasn't so much about imitating women as it was about feeling good about myself and feeling creative in the use of lipsticks and other beauty items. Curiously, by this point I was the one giving advice to my friends about how they should do their makeup, when before it was obviously the other way around. Of course, at the end of that year I graduated and became a lawyer. I moved in for a while. Overwhelmed with work, I put the whole makeup aspect aside to focus on my career. However, it seemed clear to me that my personal growth was driving me to be meticulous about how I presented myself to others. Therefore, I always made sure that I looked well dressed and my face was spotless. My female colleagues at the buffet are always impressed when I advise them about facial care. Of course, they don't know anything about my preference for lipsticks or eyeshadows, and they don't have to know about it. That part I reserve exclusively for my personal life, as I did in college. Every once in a while I get together with my college girlfriends, and on those occasions I dress up in some women's pants and a blouse. My friends always compliment me on my makeup, and I always blush and thank them for the comment. Sometimes it seems unbelievable to me that this whole thing started because of sudden acne and dark circles under my eyes. But maybe those two issues were the catalysts that led me to discover a part of me that was always there, even though I didn't know it. At the end of the day, it's just about feeling good about myself and about the image I present to the world. It is just one of the facets of my personal growth, and I am sure I will continue to grow in the future in different ways. The end.